episode 313 of the Gold Squadron podcast. I'm your host, William Hegwood. I'm joined by Marcel, Druid, DPS, Manzano.
Oh, that's me. Yeah. Advice: if you're playing Diablo, net build, is that what you call it? Net deck, net build.
Net build.
Go to YouTube. If you do it yourself, no bueno.
Sounds good. All right, we have Orion coming out swinging Staniszewski.
Apparently, what the Rebel Alliance is doing these days, not only for the masses, but for me too.
And James Shatterpoint Hype Ritter.
Yeah, and, the new Shatterpoint game from AMG just dropped this past week. So go check it out. I'm currently building and painting right now, so definitely the most enjoyable part of the game, right?
Mine's currently still in the box.
yeah. I
don't have
wish
glue.
mine.
I need glue and little clippers.
Yeah, definitely slogging through all the miniatures, but there's only a couple, so it's not as bad as like Legion.
All right, well, before we get into the UK Games Expo, I gotta talk about our largest group of supporters, our Patreons. Check out what exclusive access you could get through Patreon at patreon.com/Gold Squadron. All right, so UK Games Expo. Tell me about it, Ryan.
So the UK Games Expo happened this past weekend in UK, unsurprisingly, at the Games Expo. Also obvious, but there was quite a good turnout. 92 players. They only did 1 day of Swiss though. They did 6 rounds with a cut to top 8. Looked like a wide variety or proximity of players, whereas it wasn't just players from the UK. Looks like we had some people travel from all across Europe, at least, to make it to this event. Especially noting some people from our top 8 who I'm pretty sure don't live in the UK. But obviously some still good representation from some of the 186 and other UK-based squadrons too. Marcel, if you want to kind of start off, you can either go bottom up or top down.
Well, we'll start with the winner, but the the interesting thing is in 2020, I think or was it last year? In the
last year
last
was 2022.
No, I know last year was 22. The last time that they had this event. I think the last time they had this event was in 2020. Or did they actually have this event last year?
No, I think they had this one last year too. I think this is the one where we had the final between the Swarm and Bartosz, which was also early in a point suck.
Well, that's what I was going to get at. So the finalists last year, Bartosz got second place and lost to Martin, who won. And this year was actually a rematch of last year's final with the same two, but this time Ken beat Martin. So it's the same finalists. They just swapped who won each year. So Bartosz, he's Ken online, won with a list that's actually very similar to what he took to Worlds. I made top 4 at Worlds, which is Han Solo, but he took the boy Han to Worlds this time because the other Han Solo got cheaper. He took old school Han with Perceptive Co-Pilot. Chopper. Chopper is, if I'm not mistaken, that's the one that if you bump, you can... No, not if you bump.
Take actions while stressed.
If you're stressed, you can take an action for a damage.
Correct. Yep.
While stressed. And then Biston, which is after you shoot once, you may shoot a different ship out of any arc. As long as you still have a focus token, which Perceptive Pilot gives you both. Engine upgrade, and then the Millennium Falcon title. And again, for those who haven't seen Han Solo in a while, because he's been 7 points. No, he's been 8 points. Now he's 7. He gets to reroll, and it does not count as a reroll. All offensive and defensive dice when he is at range 0 to 1 of a rock. And then he also gets to reroll if he's got an evade token, even though I don't think he ever has an evade token with this one. Then he also brought Luke Skywalker in the Battle of Yavin, Keo Venzi with a proton rocket, A-wing wedge, which with marksmanship and trick shot, which I think trick shot's kind of interesting without the back arc. Um, it's an interesting choice. And then the 2-point Sabine Wren in the TIE Fighter with Beskar reinforced plating, which is the one that if you are facing the ship that is attacking you and you receive a crit, you can spend 1 charge to flip it down, 2 charges to discard it. So it is a pseudo uh, shield upgrade if somebody lands a crit on you while you're facing them. But it only comes in at 3 points. The upgrade does. Sabine itself only comes in at 2 points, so it's a pretty good buy. I think it's a really good buy. Yeah. So that was the winner. Any thoughts on this particular list?
I think I mean this is a good starting point for Han squads and rebels for sure. You find the Han who's probably going to be at minimum a some way to get multiple focus tokens, Bistan, and then fill out your upgrades from there. Obviously, the Falcon title's free. I think engine upgrade very viable too, so you're not stressed after boosts. And then the chopper and going with percent of co-pilot. I've seen some people go base Malbus to go a little bit cheaper, where you focus and stress yourself with multiple ships around you. So there's a couple ways you could do it, and then opting for a 5 point sort of secondary piece, as in like your Yavin Luke. I think there's a real discussion of whether or not it's Fen Rao Fang too. I'm trying to figure out right now in Rebels which of those 5 point ships I like more in certain squads. And then you got some nice A wings to go along with it. Your Keo and your Wedge. My 3 A wings to pick at the start of any list for Rebels. If I'm going to take some A wings, it's going to be either Keo, Wedge, or Sabine. Well, Sabine is in this list, but it's the Tie Fighter Sabine. You don't get both of them. So I think this is if you see Rebel players bring Han, I wouldn't be surprised to see multiple iterations of this list where you swap out the five, swap out some upgrades on Han to try things out. I've seen people try Keo with Juke instead of Prockets, where you don't have that high spike potential of the Procket. But if you're taking an evade, a lot of people like to shoot an evade forced ship. But then if Keo's shooting last, or can shoot last in your list, that can almost act like a crack shot for Keo because most things have spent their tokens defensively, especially against the Han who shot twice.
Yeah, and I think
Very good.
for me, the interesting part of this list that is something against what I've been typically seeing in most Rebel squads I've seen is Bodica. I've seen Bodica in almost all Rebel squads that I've played against or that I've seen like in different store championships and things like that. So it's a 4 point ship, so that kind of gives it a weird spot. You'd have to give up Luke in order to get that 4 pointer, but then you'd be bumping Sabine up to like the Sabine A wing, so you can get Sabine A wing, Wedge, Keo, which is 3 A wings, and still get Bodica. Uh, but that proton torpedo at I5 double modded is just pretty juicy. It's hard to pass up on it. But to Ryan's point, like I think we're gonna be seeing a lot of this archetype with little changes here and there. Keo, you can build it a few different ways. Wedge, you can 100 build it a few different ways because, like me personally, I like them with crack shot and marksmanship. But yeah, and you also have the choice of doing the I don't even know what is it called. What is the when you it's not sensitive controls. What is it? What is it for them?
Vectored
Cannons.
cannons.
Yeah, vectored cannon. So you also have the choice of giving them that front and rear arc and reposition in the system phase, which with Han Solo and Luke as your primary ships, I mean that's not a bad option because at that point the other guys become more of your support, and you can you can maintain guns on target a little bit better. So yeah, congratulations, Bartos. He's gonna give me crap again because I told him, we always, we're good friends and we always talk on we always message each other a lot. And when he was going to Worlds, I told him his list sucked, and then he went top four. And this time I was like, man, don't fly there no more. That you got lucky the first time. Uh, so I know he's gonna be talking smack.
I don't know. I think
Uh,
this version of Rebel list is pretty real, and going
very good,
forward,
yeah.
people should at least keep an eye on it. I don't know how many people. I would think a lot of people would be excited to play Han again, right? The Falcon's back in some capacity, whether it's Han or Lando or Leo. They're all 7 points. They all have some
Mhm.
different things they can do, but Han's usually the feature one. You have your I6.
Yeah,
You know,
double, double modded shots.
double-ish modded. People have to remember that when you re-roll with Han, you have to re-roll all the dice you put together.
Sure, but
But
it's still a mod. It's still you're not gonna blank. You,
yes,
you get choices, and both with two focuses,
Yeah, your
you're always
choice
going
is,
to
did I
be
roll
modding.
blanks?
yeah.
Yeah, you're going to have the option of a definitive mod with focus on both shots and a let's call it a mulligan, a double mulligan, and a mod.
Yeah. But also, don't forget,
And
it's not only for attack and defense. If Han's rolling some bomb damage his way, he can re-roll it. If I had someone, I watched a game where someone had a diamond boron missile coming from kickback at him, and they did the damage, and like, all right, I'm gonna use the diamond boron ability. Like, Han rolls that dice, so like, roll damage for the diamond boron missile. No, I didn't. Nope, I didn't. No damage. Safe.
True. Bombs would count then as well.
And
Interesting.
we might get to why that's going to matter with some bomblets around.
Yeah, I say we
James,
transition in here. Uh,
to number two, Martin.
Yep.
Now they don't have the actual names on the
no, no.
list, but I know his name was Martin. He's from 186 from England. I know you were over there for a while, James. I don't know if you know him, but
I think I've
I'll
met
take
him
that one.
once or twice. It's Chivs in the ladder
I
there.
think the easiest way to do it in Roll Better
No,
is
it's
to go to the rounds tab and then
Yeah.
work your way backwards from final. We know
Exactly.
we've done
Yep.
Ken already, so we want Chivs next.
it's-
And view summary.
Yeah. So yeah, you click on
Perfect.
the name and you click
I
view
gotcha.
summary. Yeah.
perfect. All right,
There we go.
there it is. Martin, take it away, James.
All right, Martin, flying an FO. Of course, we got to see that Kylo Ren and the TIE Whisper down to 5 points. Very spicy pick. Bringing instinctive aim, brilliant evasion, concussion missiles, advanced optics, and an enhanced jamming suite. Also, quick draw down to 5 points as well. Has swarm tactics, fanatical, targeted synchronizer, special forces gunner, fire control systems. And what are we targeting, synchronizing? Maybe. We have some cluster missiles out there on Malorus, Scorch, and Whirlwind. That's the only upgrade for Malorus in the TIE FO, but it's a great upgrade for her. Able to spend that charge and do 2 attacks that are at least single modded for one and double modded for the other. You have Scorch in the TIE Bomber, not the TIE FO. Very different. We're used to seeing him in the TIE FO as pretty much the first ship you put down on that FO, pretty much. Has feedback ping, cluster missiles, and a bomblet generator. So they receive that first instance of bomblet, and we're going to see a lot more with a lot more prevalent bombers, TIE bombers specifically. We have Whirlwind, the TIE Whisper, has marksmanship, fanatical, cluster missiles, advanced optics, and the enhanced jamming suite. So this is not too dissimilar from what was like a previous iteration of Whirlwind, like two Whispers, or no, it was one Whisper, a TIE, and a bunch of TIE FOs basically, and one TIE SF.
Yeah, and specifically it was Midnight with Whirlwind when Midnight used
Right.
to be
Mm.
4 points. It had a little more loadout. They could take a missile stuck next to Whirlwind and then do that whole trick of target synchronize, bump Whirlwind up to 6, trigger Whirlwind's ability for a bunch of focuses if stuff's
Mhm.
looking at Whirlwind, which a lot of stuff wants to look at Midnight. In this case, a lot of stuff wants to look at Quick Draw to get those
Yeah.
shields out. So it's kind of a similar effect here.
Yeah. So just instead of midnight, we have quick draw here with the swarm tactics, storm tactic up whirlwind, and really trying to draw attention away from quick draw. But it's kind of difficult because once that first shield goes down in the round, you kind of want to pile on more there. Any other
This is
notes you want to?
yeah. So I saw. Well, for starters, is the all the games, not all the games, but all the rounds were broadcast. Sorry, I'm getting a lot of messages here, but were broadcast by I think it's Firecast is who's doing it on
If you were to
Twitch.
look it up, be Firecast Focus on Twitch.
Yeah, and I did catch the top four match that Martin was on. I did. I sped through the final. I didn't see the final, but in the top four match, I understood why he went Scorch in the bomber. And essentially what he did is he used Scorch's bomber kind of as a uh, as as a way to just money stuff up, get in there real quick with the system face boost, three bank, potentially a barrel roll, and just kind of like the jump masters used to do that bump and used to get some crazy range to just do things. He did that, and then he gets in the middle of the attacks as early as possible, so you can drop the bomblet generator. Do the K turn, get the free locks from the feedback ping on the bomblet generators, and then he still has Kylo and everything else basically bearing down on the list. So you can't turn around and pay much attention to that bomber, who, by the way, is shooting 2-3 dice attacks at you, or at least one 3-die attack if you're not at range. If you don't have two ships at range one of each other. So the way, again, I didn't see too many games, but at least the way that he approached that particular game and basically went all in with Scorch and just said, shoot me. And that particular game, there was only one ship that was able to shoot him at range 0 because he actually got in deep enough to where he got almost behind the entire formation. And then the other part of it is Whirlwind with quick draw is just such an upgrade from the one you were mentioning. The person that comes to mind is Crispy. Crispy was flying that.
Also, the winner of the Gold Squadron Sector Series, Rob Sabo.
Yep.
Took that as well.
And the quick draw is just such an upgrade to be the companion or the buff for Whirlwind. I mean, it's just ridiculously
I will say though,
better.
Quick Draw needs to target lock as the action, which means if Quick Draw wants to mitigate anything incoming for the offense against Quick Draw, doesn't really have any defensive mods. No one's helping that out.
Yeah, but I think it's a weird situation because again, in that same particular match that I saw, he set up quick draw, Whirlwind, and Commander Maurus all in the same like triangle formation with Whirlwind at the front, and Whirlwind obviously did the focus, quick draw did the target lock, and Maurus did an objective. And then the targeting synchronizer actually triggered Maurus's missiles plus Whirlwind's missiles. So Whirlwind at initiative 6 missiles, and then Maurus with he took the objective, borrowed the target lock from to trigger the missiles, and then still had the ability with with the infinite focuses. It again, it seemed really powerful. This is one that. I was never really interested in the quick draw Whirlwind combo because I'm not quick draw. I mean midnight Whirlwind combo because I just midnight just kind of scares me a little bit. This particular one, and if they shoot at quick draw, okay. Let's say they shoot at quick draw, they get rid of his shields. Maybe even they kill him. By that point, you've got Kylo Ren bearing in through the back. You've got Scorch coming in from the other angle, and then you still have to worry about Whirlwind and Maris, doing their thing, and you've spent all your time trying to, or you spent your first round of shots and coming in at um, quick draw, plus the majority of things that can, let's say, one round stuff early are probably like the rebel awful, the proton torpedo stuff, and most of that comes in at a I-5 anyway, so they're probably not getting those target locks in on quick draw. So it seems very, very good. I'm not sure what, again, I'm probably going to go back and see the final just to see how that approach differed. But I like this list a lot.
I'm actually surprised. As much as I'm a proponent of using clusters on malwares more than magpulse, this seems to be a good case for trying magpulse because you already have so many clusters around, and to help the potential shots back into quick draw and the less need to try and get a fully modded magpulse to go through because you're only going to end up doing one damage anyway. I think in that same sort of scenario you talked about, where those ships are coming up together, Malice does an objective action if necessary, and does her ability, then can just use the targeting synchronizer from Quick Draw. And if it's Mag Pulse, it helps the shots coming back into Quick Draw who needed to sort of paint the targets for that.
Interesting. Yeah, FO still doing good though. Big difference here than what it used to be. The big what was it? The 4x initiative force. What did you used to call them, Ryan? Core 4. Thank you. I got
The
that.
Core 4, yeah,
Core 4.
the FOs.
Yeah. I
now there's TIE Bombers at 3, and they're
I
I don't know yet.
like the
It's
TIE
still,
Bombers at 3. Try
yeah.
Scorch and Dread in your list. Uh, that boost and barrel linked action. So fast. All right, let's take a look then. Let's go back to the top 4 and take a look at the next one here. To be Fru Till. Named his list. Play with the best. Die like the rest.
Pierre Bouffier, who was the number 1 overall in Swiss from Worlds.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. I guess good people are still good.
Awesome. What's in it, Ryan?
Well, we just talked about FO, so let's talk about it more. So we once again have Kylo Whisper, 5-point, opting for Instinctive Aim, Predator, Malice, Concussion Missile, and Enhanced Jamming Suite, not the Advanced Optics version with Brilliant Evasion. Instead, taking those would be 7 points and put it into Malice and Predator for maybe a little more lethal bullseye, and not going for the extremely well modded with the Advanced Optics and Instinctive Aim combination, taking a focus action on the concussion missiles. And then you have Commander Malrus with cluster missiles. We have Quick Draw again, but this time not with any swarm tactics. We just have Fanatical, Special Forces Gunner, Fire Control System, and Shield upgrade. So a whole nother shield on that Quick Draw to potentially use for that maybe another whole round or 2 of ability. We have Midnight coming in at now 3 points with Predator and Crackshot. Midnight doesn't have a missile anymore, and just opting for, I'm just gonna bullseye stuff at I6 and threaten a good Predator Crackshot if I need a barrel roll to get that positioning. I don't know how often, because there's a couple Midnights that are similar to this version in this event. I don't know how often they're really trying for that target lock, or if it's just sort of an opportunistic thing, right? Like, you want to set it up if you can, but I'm not sure if this Midnight says I want to force it. I think this Midnight's more okay at 3 cost only, just to take the focus when needed, when it's, think about it mathematically versus what they're looking at. And then we have LaHuse, the now 4-point. ISF used to be 5. with Special Forces Gunner, Proud, and Pattern Analyzer. That's it. Pretty simple. Lehuse can use friendly target locks to re-roll, spend friendly target locks to re-roll their attack dice. Let me make sure it's all of them and not maybe just like 2 or something.
Nope, it's all of them. It's
all.
just as if you
Oh yeah,
spent
you would
it.
know. You played a little bit. With
I love Lehuse. Love to see this list. Initiative 66555 out there as well.
That's the initiative.
I think we were doing a theory crafting, and you could build a initiative 5-piece list in every single faction, but very few of them actually have multiple choices here. And the choice to bring out those initiative 6, Midnight and Quick Draw, does not surprise me here. With what the other lists we've seen really reaching for that high initiative.
Sure. And we'll get to later why FO has. I mean, we're seeing a lot of the Kylo Quick Draw right now.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of other good options at 5 points in FO right now that could really
yes.
make a point as to what else you could test. There is like you're hearing us talk about these lists and a couple things that are coming up multiple times. Sure, that doesn't mean this is solved in any regard right now. There's a lot to go through.
The First Order only has 5-point ships. They have no 6-point ship.
Well, yeah, so they are kind of weirdly restricted on list building. They don't have any more 6-point ships anymore. And they're the only faction who doesn't have a 2-point ship.
Right.
So
It's very restrictive.
20 is actually pretty restricted in First Order.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, there weren't a lot of First Order lists in the previous meta that said, sure, I'll take a 6-point thing versus these 2 3-point things that do way more than the 1 6-point thing ever did anyway. But
Hollow went down, Quick Draw went down.
Everybody but Malorus
so
in that
Hollow
list.
stayed the same.
Hollow's still 5.
Yeah.
Fair.
So
Hollow is fair.
Fair. Yeah. And then Hollow at 4. Jeez.
Yeah. I'll take a proud Hollow at 4. Come on.
Yeah. 2-point loadout. Yeah, that's just disgusting.
I'm joking. Hollow's still 5.
Still 5.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. But Kylo in the Silencer is still 7, right?
Kylo, that's the only
yeah.
only ship outside of Upsilon's that does not cost 5 or lower.
Yep.
So their gap is so narrow.
So,
3, 4, or 5.
Kylo got more loadout and in a slot he's never had before.
Yeah.
That talent, right?
Outmaneuver, debris gambit, whatever.
Yeah,
Lone Wolf.
What do you mean extreme maneuvers and outmaneuver and sensor scrambler? Book it, done.
Well, they didn't do good enough to get into our top cut. Well, at least we know so far. So let's go into the fourth one here. This is 10 Zini. The other top 4 placer. Do you have a real name for this person?
Eric Bolliard?
All right, well, congratulations getting in the top 4. This is another Rebel list. So 2 Rebel, 2 FO in the top 4. This one utilizing some new 4-point ships. This is Gina, the B-Wing, Initiative 5, who can throw off stress. Has fire control system, proton cannons, proton bombs, and the stabilized S-foils. Corrin Horn, now down to 4 with Hopeful, Magpulse, and R3. Corrin can give locks when he shoots at a ship with a lock. Of course, boy Luke, Trench Run Luke coming in, and Boudica, Predator, Beskar, Mandalorian Optics, and the 3-point ship, not Wedge, but Keo with Proton Rocket. Everybody loves Proton Rocket Keo. Nobody willing to take concussion anymore, huh?
I would rather have Sabine.
Side slipping's fun.
So I mean, I'm not debating Keo.
Side slipping's fun. Force is good.
Well, why the Proton Rocket
to
though?
land the bullseye with the side slips. I mean, it puts you in.
You think so? You just kind of like hover.
Clarify,
Yeah.
I think it's less about the ease of it and more about when you side slip, you're pointing your arc much easier to it. Like so, in most time with A-wings, you make your pass and you try and move on to like the next thing. But a lot of times, as things move on the board, they've moved past you. So, but with Keo, your side slips when they're available allow you to put that bullseye back into threat range much easier.
Yeah,
followed
especially if
by
you can do
focus
it.
Boost.
Yeah, the boost. That's right. Well, maybe. Been popular. Boudica at 4 points. Honestly, I don't know how Bartosz didn't put Boudica in his list because Boudica
Took Han instead. I mean,
took. I
we
mean,
talked about it. When you
yeah,
have Luke and Boudica, if you're putting Han in a list, you're pretty much committing to likely a 4-ship list, which isn't
true.
bad. Like, it could still be
Yeah.
good.
I mean,
If
4
you want
good
to stick
shits,
with a
but
5-ship list and you want Han, you have to like pick the 5-point ship or Boudica, whether it's Luke or Fenn.
Hmm.
Because after Boudica, to me, the 4-point rebels, it's like here's Boudica, and then like here's everything else.
Nice.
Drops from
Like
there.
this Gina and Corin. You don't like this combination?
I think it's all right, but it's not Boudica. Like if you told me to pick one of those 4-pointers, I don't even have to think. It's Boudica.
Oh yeah,
Boudica,
I'll
I
give
mean,
you that.
the corn is better when you have a very specific thing that you're trying to do.
Hmm.
You got to be careful when you chase it though, because
Yeah.
that can put corn into some pretty vulnerable
I like-
positions. I've
And
tried it.
I like this
ultimately
version with
Corrin-
our 3.
Yeah, ultimately, Corrin needs in order to be truly effective needs either a coordinator or something that can give it, something like Hera or Kyle Katarn or something that will give it because an X-wing without a focus token.
yeah.
I mean,
do you-
Please
sad.
shoot my core and so
Do-
Boudica can shoot you.
Yeah, I mean
That's
that's
the thing, right?
yeah.
Please
That's what
So-
I was
shoot my
going with.
no
Like,
token.
the way Corrin stays alive longer is that you sure you want to be shot again by Boudica? My Boudica's range 1 this time.
Yeah, I'm always
With
in the
Predator,
thought
yeah.
process of like what the effect of bigs, right? We don't use bigs in the same way anymore. But a ship that's like, you need to shoot me before you shoot my very expensive friends who do not want to be shot. And this
It's just
list,
now Big Zika.
it's Bigsica. It's always been Bigsica. It's just not. It wasn't worth it. But now I'm getting those linked actions, free evades. I mean, when you the so the thing that gets me about Boudica is that unlike all those other effects that say if you're in the attack arc, someone has to actively choose not to shoot you, Boudica can arc dodge and shoot you anyways, which is just dirty. That's it. It creates problems, but them protecting Luke is just so good. Luke's coming in fast. Boudica can keep up with them. And now you just brought up bigs for your bigs. Sounds great.
Yeah. You can also take bigs to put on your bigs.
Yeah, bigs on your
No.
bigs.
I'm sorry,
Is he-
Biggs. You're stuck
Is
in
he still
5 points.
is he still 5? Yeah, that checks
Yes,
out.
he
He
is.
can, yeah, he's stuck in proton torpedo world. What can you do?
Yeah. I do like the mag pulse on Corin here though. 'Cause you
Yeah,
need the lock,
I5. You shoot first.
And you're the first one shooting in the list, and then also, that works at range 1 to
Mhm.
hand out that as well. So even if you
Well, you don't have to shoot the mag pulse. You just have to. You don't even have to spend the lock. You just have to declare a defender.
yeah, but jamming them and depleting them is still amazing at range 1, especially if
Yeah.
you know that you're going to get a follow up.
I
Especially
love
when
the mag
Korn
pulse
could be
now.
the first one shooting out of your whole list too.
Yeah, it's X-wing.
Yeah, imagine
what's
getting
happening?
proton cannoned, shot by Boudica, Corn Horn mag pulsed, and proton torpedoed by Luke. And then that's not
Well-
even to mention you could get Keo proton rocket.
Well, it's also keep in mind that Gina has stabilized S foils, so you can primary fire
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Don't spend the lock, but you have fire control system. If you got a lock, so you can reroll 1 dice, spend the lock, and then shoot the proton cannon if you got the
Yeah.
bullseye,
And that's
which
still
is soft
modded.
modded with
Yeah.
the eyeball to crit exactly.
Yeah.
And then
No, yeah,
Gina's got proton bomb on the way out, so Gina's Gina's like a light dirge, like that sort
Yeah.
of buzzsaw effect where you're driving down the middle of the board, you're carving a path with the proton cannon, you're laying proton bombs on the way out.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Clear the
and
lanes.
Gina is actually one of my favorite B wings because she doesn't like to be stressed. which means that she has all those amazing red maneuvers open to her.
Yeah, can't
Yeah.
can't
Problem
be
is
stressed.
there's not really a lot of ships that like getting her stress in this list. Like X-wings.
Well, it's gonna be
Yeah.
corn. It's gonna be
corn.
corn.
Yeah, 'cause
Uh,
once he takes
sorry.
that,
He's hopeful. He might want to actually trigger.
Oh,
Hopeful.
nope.
oh, that's true. Give it to Luke then, I guess.
Luke
Bodica's
wants the
get-
K turn with force. Are you kidding me?
Bodica, it'll be fine.
Bodica's already
Yeah.
linking actions,
I
and Keo would
I
like to
would
Hey,
side select.
you don't have to link your actions with Gina. You can't just take
Yeah, you
focuses
don't need
and
to. Yeah, just take the lock.
target
yeah,
lock. Just
that's the
fly
thing.
around locking. So the barrel roll lock though into bullseye,
which is stressful.
gonna have to
That
happen.
is just-
Well,
yeah, what's the range for Gina? Is it 2?
two
Two.
and a must.
Don't be range to Agena.
I mean, sure, send her on the flank.
Yeah.
Send her on the flank. Okay, I'm losing
Good luck
track
dealing with
here.
Objectives to do that though.
I'm
All right, we're
losing
still on
track
top
here.
4.
No,
Oh, we're on
I
top
think
8.
no,
we
we're on
finished
top
top
8.
four.
We got
Are we moving
4
on
more
to-
lists.
we are doing all top 8.
I'm just going in whatever order they appear here. This is Hiko 186.
What? That is Cormac Higgins.
That makes sense. You know, shout out to everybody whose roll butter name is just their real name. Anyways,
Oh, this is a weird one.
yes, I'll give it. I'll give it to you.
I'll let James do this one.
No,
Yeah, I'll give it to you, James. Tell
Yeah,
us
I care.
about these Naboos.
Well, unfortunately, he only brought 1 Naboo. Honestly, though, great job. Great job making it to top 8 with a Padme. Big props. Brought Padme with marksmanship, passive sensors, and proton torpedoes. Has a click. This is regular click, customizable click. Has dedicated R3 astromech synchronized console and Besh. Has to pay for that Besh, but happy that he got his R3 point back. We got Oddball and the V-Wing. This is also customizable because he's bringing that plasma torpedo, R4P astromech synchronized console, and the Besh config. And then we have the 2-point, the boosting and the sliding. The Clone Z95s with slider and boost both have dedicated. So that is our 3rd copy of dedicated in this list. Kickback, Siege of Coruscant. So handing out those evade tokens for Born for this. Also has that Diamond Boron missile, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And Contrail, another V-Wing here with Crackshot, R7A7, synchronized console, and Besh. That is the customizable version there. So only 1 sock, but 3 copies of dedicated and a good amount of I5. We have Contrail at I5, we have Oddball at I5, and then we have Padme preventing those multiple focus expenditures for enemies as long as she's looking at them.
Focus modifiers, including rerolls.
Yeah, anything that modifies. Yeah, that's the best thing is like having to explain. Like, oh, I'll reroll everything. It's like, well, you can only reroll. It's like if they roll like focus, blank, and they have a lock, they'll go like, oh, I'll reroll a blank and a focus, and I was like, okay, you can do that, and then they reroll it, and then it's into like a blank hit, or sorry, a focus hit, and it's like, all right, you've already modified your 1 focus. You can't modify any more focuses, so.
Padme's just a stop sign. Like
Yeah,
stop.
yeah. This is
a very
one
intensive
Yeah.
cross guard.
Yeah, like one admittance only, no +1s here. So
Yeah, pretty
but
powerful.
great job. Yeah, it can be
I mean,
incredibly powerful, or it can just like not proc at all.
Sure. I mean, but even if it said like everyone's focuses is actually a calculate, that'd still be pretty good. But it does more than that, though. Affects locks and force.
Yeah, it does affect it a lot, and I've had games with Padme that are just like, why is this ship not more expensive? And that was when she was at 5 points.
Yeah.
But I definitely had.
Yeah,
games.
as a note, this 4-pointer is utilizing those proton torpedoes. Is there what's our synchronized consoles in here? It's Oddball
yeah.
can give it to
we have
Contrail
lots of
can
synchronized.
so Contrail can give it to Oddball, and if Oddball doesn't need it, can give it to Click. Not to mention anybody at range 1, including Padme. If they happen to be flying next to Padme, you just give you her lock if she didn't get it through the passive sensors.
Yeah, and then like that's what's really cool about passive sensors as well, is because you can take passive sensors and like if Contrail didn't need that lock, or if someone didn't need that lock and they can pass it to Padme, she can take that passive sensors, calculate, and have the lock be passed to her through synchronized, and still get a somewhat double-modded attack there.
Yeah,
If
pretty
anyone
powerful.
was like keeping
Jeez.
a mental count on how many ships James just said in this list, there's
That's
7 by the way.
That's 7.
This is a 7-ship Republic list because, as it sounded like, there are 2 Z95s that are now 2 points, Slider and Boost, who only have 3 points of loadout, and Dedicated is now 3 points.
Yeah,
So,
perfect.
that's why you're also seeing some of the upgrades as well went up a little bit. He mentioned Bash went up by 1 point. R7A7 went up to 5 instead of 3. Both of the SOC versions of Contra and Click went up to 4. The custom stayed at 3. There's a lot more choices you actually have to make in building those custom versions because none of those V-Wings have bombs at all. They're just, here's our droids,
No,
here's
You
our
probably should be bringing
talents.
bombs at a 7-point, or 7-ship
A 7-ship list is hard to bomb. You are correct. But we're seeing they can still be effective even without their bombs, and that they just actually they do have to make loadout choices overall.
No,
They want.
kickback's still 3.
Yeah, kickback is 3. He said Contrail and
The V-Wings.
The V-Wings, yeah. The
Oh,
V-Wing
Click.
socks went up.
Click,
but,
yes.
but we did see Axe go down to 3.
So the Torrents actually both sock Torrents are 3.
Yeah. I'm surprised that we're not seeing more of Axe, but maybe we
Oh,
will.
it's in my list builder. I just haven't put it on the board yet.
Yeah.
It's actually
Alright.
very similar to this list, except Padme's something else, and both those Z95s are something else.
Really, you didn't take the 2 Zs?
Psh, I'd rather take SOC and a Kinado over those 2 Zs any day.
Doesn't like the Z. We can't get to 7 then.
Oh no! I'm
Oh,
sorry.
no.
I now have an I6 Ace.
You know what? Speaking of I6 Ace, can you tell me about Timber Magnitude's list here? Another top 8 placer.
You find the name here. That is Paul Cadwell. All running a rebel list. We have Fen Rao in the Fang Fighter with Clan Training, which is now 1 point. Swarm Tactics and Beskar Reinforced Plating. We have Boudica Venge with Predator Beskar Mando Optics. That's to me like kind of the default start for her. We have Luke from Yavin. We have A-Wing Wedge with Predator and Starboard Slash. I actually like Starboard Slash on Wedge A-Wing when Fen Rao Fang is in the list, because when you get rid of that, use Fen Rao's ability to help Wedge get rid of the stress, sloop, 3 sloop 5k over your opponent, drop them a strain, and shoot them with Wedge's ability, so maybe they're 2 less agility, or helping lower the agility on another attack for your friends. And then we got Yavin Y-Wing Hall Akand, who is now 3 points, threatening that APT double modded at I4 or using Hopeful to trigger that boost link into lock for that. This is a 5-ship list here. Ben, I'm going to guess Swarm Tactics Boudica up, which allows Boudica to shoot her, in most cases, shoot her shot first, and then has the option for her revenge shot to still be a full attack amount versus when other people shoot, Boudica using her ability would deplete her afterwards, which would mean her regular follow-up shot at I4 would be 2 dice or 3 dice at range 1.
Well, I'll tell you what's interesting though is that can't Fen Rao clear their deplete?
Yes, so you could Swarm Tactics another ship if you'd like. It is a little flexible. But, what if you wanted to swarm Boudica up anyway and then clear a stress instead of a deplete? The deplete's probably more important to clear because if you don't clear it for the next turn, Boudica can't use her ability when she's already depleted. So, if you wanted to neutralize a Boudica's effect, you can Mag Pulse it. If that lands, that will deplete her and she cannot use her ability for that round until anyone might help
Interesting.
clear it, like this Fen route.
Also, Swarm tacking up that Hull Oakand. Up to 6 and throwing an advanced proton, because like
Sure.
one of the ways to get out of an advanced proton arc is to kill the thing that wants to shoot you with it. So
Or just get out of its range 1.
yeah. So but a Hull is a little bit more difficult to get out of because of that.
Yeah.
That precise astromech can really be very helpful to get that double mod.
Does force any target of Hull to say you have to leave range 1 or I'm going to shoot you because Fen swarms me up. And if you shoot, and that could be like another wrinkle to it. You do that, and you're like, all right, I'm gonna shoot Hull. Well, Boudica's gonna shoot you.
Yep, there's Boudica.
There's
True.
Boudica again. Pow, 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 pow. I feel like
Alright.
Boudica has to be a Mandalorian that uses 2 pistols. She feels like the pow, pow, pow.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. 2 shots. Come on. 2 pistols.
Yeah, right.
Makes sense. Let's move on to a separatist list, Ryan. Or wait, did you just do the last one? Who's ever next?
I
Whoever
did,
hasn't
but
done
I'll
that.
I
talk
walked
about
off
this
for a
one.
long time, so it's probably me.
You're gonna do it then, Marcel.
What am I doing?
Marcel, do
How
this
you
one.
doing?
I wanted to talk about this one.
This is a Dom Flanagan.
Is
Tom
that Doc?
Flanagan. This is Doc.
All right. So Dom flew Sunfac with Ensnare. But it's nice you've seen. Well, let me restate that.
It's nice.
It's nice and it sucks at the same time that you're starting to see Chertek.
Look, opponents have a lot more agency about Sunfuck. It's just more of an understanding when you
Yeah.
don't see it a lot.
But we have Sunfac with Ensnare, Graviticon Deflection, which I think allows you to like ditch or
You
get
reroll.
Reroll
your
your defense dice for each tractor token in the attack
There you
arc.
go. And targeting computer also has Chertek with Ensnare and only Ensnare. Then you've got Dirge with proton cannons, delayed fuses, the titles Xano Blood, the Nato Blood, and proton bombs. And then General Grievous with marksmanship, shield upgrade, impervium plating, Solus one, and Doofus 081 with energy shells, charges, independent calculations, and grappling stress. DFS, that's the I4 that gets the bonus stuff, or is that
You've hurt me so
No.
much.
The
I wish there
two-pointer.
was an I4 Vulture.
No.
That's the vulture? That's not.
Yeah.
This is a Vulture, yes.
Okay, that's a 2-pointer then, right?
This is a 2-pointer. Oh
Yeah,
god,
so
if
you've
I have
got-
3 points left in this, please.
Yeah, so you've got the two Sunfac and Chertek, Dirge, and funny enough, you can. I mean, medium with this list, medium bases are also at risk because they don't.
That's
take
true. Yeah, usually Sunvac is that's kind of his like as bane, because there's medium and large bases.
Yeah, but in this one, you could theoretically throw it on a medium base and do that. And to me, this just looks like a list of a bunch of stuff that is efficient and like it doesn't. I don't know how much it plays well together. I mean, if I have to think like, okay, how does this play together? Maybe with like setting up dirt, like tractoring into Dirge's proton cannons or stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, if you're small bases, you don't want to see this. I mean, that's as simple as that.
Yeah, I got a chance to watch a little bit of the game that was streamed in Swiss, where Dom faced off against his squad mate Connor Holmes, who was running Vader, triple tie bomber, and fifth brother. And the way he flew it, he kept Chertek near Grievous, and he kept Sunfuck kind of with Dirge. Not at the start, but they formed up together at that point, and sort of used Dirge and Grievous to sort of lead the charge while having those ensnares behind them to give them that end of activation reposition, transferring that tractor so Grievous could jump into range of at an early going or barrel roll, do like an extra barrel roll. Sunfog can definitely help Dirge line up that proton cannon, like you said. This Grievous, I don't yet know if Shield Upgrade or Afterburners is the right call. I see the argument for both. To be honest, there's a good discussion for those. That targeting computer on Sunfac for 1 point can be used for anti-jam tech, because Sunfac is really susceptible to jam. And when you have another Nantex being chair tick on the board, triggering gravitic deflection is a lot easier. It potentially can net you maybe a little bit better than what I would try with a single single Nantex being Sunfox being enduring, because crits are extremely bad for Nantex. And we're seeing 081 instead of Iron Assembler, because Iron Assembler no longer can take Indie, Calc, and Energy Shield charges. 081 can take both. Iron Assembler can only do discords and independent calculations. If you are also thinking to yourself, man, how do all these ships fit now? Well, Sunfox is now 5 points, ShareTech is now 4 points. They both used to be 1 point higher.
I'm Sunfac at 5 with Ensnare is just like,
in isolation, that sounds crazy, but there's so many 6 point aces that were barely being played that got dropped to 5. Everyone got a discount.
Yeah.
It's true.
I really like this list archetype. There's actually a lot of Separatist archetype in this 5 ship that can be switched around. You should see the save squads I have in Yasby. It's just 5-5 number 6-5-4 number. Everything that adds up to 20. There's like a bunch of them because there's a lot of good 4-point options with all the rogues being 4 now. Chair text 4. Coruscant T81. Funny reroll man is 4. I love Funny Reroll Man. And you always have Sunfuck and Grievous are both 5. Do you take both, or if you can take one, which one is right? I still don't know. It could matter.
So how brave are you? How good do you think you are with that Sunfac, though?
I'd probably do some Nantex practice at least if I'm
gonna
going
have
to
to
try
be
them
good.
out.
So I played
there's always
one like
SOC Dooku, and now Pre-Vizsla is 6. So there's 2 6-pointers you got to factor in all these 5 ship options. It's crazy.
Yeah, I did play against something like this, but they had the one that what is it called? The Tri-Fighter that gets the free target locks.
347. Yeah, start of engagement. If a friendly ship has a lock on, you may basically copy a lock.
Yeah, so basically they took Grievous out and added that one plus an additional droid. So they had exactly what's on there, plus the Iron Assembler with a Discord and that thing.
Also opted for 6 ships.
Yeah, so it went split Grievous into 2 more. It was scary. I know seeing the 2 Nantex out there again was it's a weird puzzle because they can just be anywhere. They could be anywhere. You don't know where they're gonna be.
I think what people do need to understand is you just got to look where their arc is currently pointed in the turn as you're setting your dials, because it could kind of tell you where they want to go. Because if they want to rotate their arc, they have to take a tractor token, and that means that that's the only arc that they can point for ensnare.
And same way, if they want to tractor, they have to rotate their arc.
Yes.
So it kind of goes both ways. So like, if you're on their right side, and their arc is to their right, they're gonna have to, if they want to tractor you, they're gonna have to turn in hard towards you.
Yep.
And point it to the front.
Yep.
So, and then you can they telegraph a lot of what they're about to do.
And also, even if they tractor something, a lot of times, most Nantex players that I see use it to good effect don't actually move most opponent ships, because then they can turn 90 degrees and look at them, which can be also dangerous.
Yeah,
like,
I think the
I'll
only
take
time
the
that
stress if I get to look at your Nantex and shoot you, because none of these Nantex have passive mods besides Chair Tech, who can get some offensive rerolls, but not defensive. I mean, Sunfuck gets gravitic, so it's a little helpful.
I mean, extra dice is a mod.
There's no force here anywhere. You have 1 token that you have to take an action for.
I will remind everybody that Ensnare also works on your friendlies. How about barrel rolling Grievous at the start of combat to
Yeah,
get him out of
Oh yeah,
somebody's arc?
yeah.
and I actually think
Or
that's why
lining
this
up
list works so
lining up
well.
the proton cannon.
When you have Dirge and Grievous, who are ships that are a little bit harder to kill than their stat line says, whether it's their abilities or their upgrades that they have, you can more freely give them tractors and set them up better and give them being sort of the buffer space. Because the Nantex really aren't best leading the charge. They're really good at following the point men, where those ships go in, your opponent has to decide, do I follow up on the ship that was already there, or do I go after the Nantex behind? If I go after the Nantex behind, do I have enough to lock it down and have it not mess with me with all its tricks with Ensnare? That's more of a difficult decision than, oh, Sunfok is the first ship coming in, or at least is nothing in front of him friendly, so let's all point at him. He can't escape us all.
True, true. All right, I think that is the last of the top 8.
I think
did-
we have
We had one more.
Yeah.
Utini.
yeah L'Oreal, Louis, Krieg.
yes.
But it's a little bit of what we've seen before. It's a rebel list. Has Han Solo. This is customizable with Trickshot, Perceptive, Abyssin, and Falcon title.
Mhm.
Hera in the A-Wing with Swarm Tactics. Luke Skywalker, Battle of Yavin, and Bodica with Clan Training and Shield Upgrade. Opting for a little bit of survivability. That Hera with Swarm Tactics only having 2 different options with Luke and Bodica. That's pretty interesting. That's the only upgrade on her as well.
I actually think it's got a very similar effect to what we saw earlier with Quick Draw and Whirlwind. Now, Hera, so you want to shoot Bodica, right? You want to kill her. Well, good luck with Focus Evade, because Hera's evading. But she's also next to Bodica, who's swarm tacticing Bodica. Bodica's shots are always, or most likely, going to always be full attack twice per turn if you don't shoot her. If you do shoot her, she is a Focus Evade Fang, who, if they get range 1, is even harder to kill because of Concordia.
Well,
You
as
wanna
as a
take
note
Hera
there,
off the board. Go ahead, Will.
I was just saying that the clan training, we never see it on anybody but Fen Rao because you only get that focus when you engage. But what if you engaged at initiative 6? Now you're getting the lock as well. So you don't need the Predator and the Mandalorian optics because you're taking clan training instead.
I think if played right, though, your best Scar reinforced plating can pretty much work as a shield upgrade, and you can still get Mandalorian optics and have Predator that could work on both shots. Not saying that this can't work, and obviously, well,
This also gets Bodica up to 5 health, which is over a threshold for half points, which is only in one scenario.
true.
But
yeah.
Taking 2 damage on a Fang and still being above half could be very nice.
I guess doing scenario actions such as scrambling and then getting
Then
the clan training at I6. That's
there
good,
you
too.
go.
I can't
That
say
is
that I do like that. Like, I'm going to scramble and pressure you to say, "Are you going to scramble with Bodica looking at you? I'm going to be I6.
Yeah.
Hope
with
you're
a focus.
I6 too, and shoot before in
Yeah.
them being first player."
I just feel like Hera is, again, this a bigs on your bigs, right? Where you're like, well, obviously we got to take down Hera. We can't let Hera support everybody this whole game. But then you're just Luke and Han, I guess no one's shooting at us.
Yeah. Han
Technically-
casually shooting 4 dice at 2 ships every turn.
God, if he's trick shot or being range 1, yeah. Range 1 trick shot, 5 dice.
5 dice. Yeah, that's 20 dice rolled by Han potentially. Wow. He'll find some damage.
I mean, so we all talk about how Bodica we have talked about throughout tonight how Boudica can be very dangerous, but at the same time, she can't shoot you if you're not in her arc. So you can work
Fly
around
better.
her.
Just
Well,
dodge.
I mean, your
Yeah.
opponent has agency to put her in spots that say, all right, you have to deal with her in some capacity. Not every ship cannot be in Boudica's arc. So the first turn or two, you're probably going to have to deal with it. But when you pass, like, she's going to not be able to look at everyone. So do what you can. Obviously, if
That's
you take
true.
Boudica off the board, do it. But this list definitely makes it difficult with Hera and that shield upgrade.
True. Let's look at some statistics here from the one of the best sites for it, Pattern Analyzer.
You know who made Pattern Analyzer? Can you like
It
give them a
is
general like thank you?
it is a European fellow.
Someone in the chat tell us who it is, and as long as they're as long as they're right and not lying, just for a cookie, I'll give you a cookie out of anything.
Give cookie. All right.
Yeah, give cookies.
So let's take a look here. So we got faction distribution: 22 rebels, 22 empire, 21 FO. The Galactic Republic takes 12 then percent of these lists. Then Resistance following up with 10 total. Well, I guess it's I guess the percentages are basically the ships flown because there's about 100 lists entered into the builder. But then it essentially trickles off from there. Scum, CIS, and the Separatist. Separatist and CIS is the same thing. Very few lists. Scum and Villainy, still not quite sure what it's doing yet. Faction performance, though, pretty consistent across all factions. The middle of the road for a lot of these.
Yeah, the standouts actually are Scum and Separatists, who had the lowest faction representation with only 4 lists each. But each got did actually very well, all things considered, for their faction.
Yep, Separatists with the highest win rate out there. But
25% of Separatists made cut. Because we saw one Separatist made cut out of four lists only. Those are definitely Scum and Separatists are probably the two factions where nothing's obvious yet. There's a lot of pieces, but I would say they feel like new factions right now with all the stuff that has shifted around.
Yeah, Fang fighters, rogues, tri-fighters, just Nantex apparently unleashed upon those factions.
A bunch of the bounty hunters went from 7 to 6, whether it's Dengar,
yeah,
right? So there's a lot that's changed in Scum and a lot that changed in Separatists, but nothing's completely obvious because neither faction has like a high repositioning ace with force, right? Like we know Republic and Empire has.
Sure, they do have 6-point Fen Rao though. Pretty sure Fang Fen Rao went down, so maybe there's something to that. Speaking of unexpected though, squad size at 64% of list at 5 ships. Not surprised at all. Gotta have no 3-ship squads at all entered in to
And no 8s either.
no 8s. Couple 7s, and we did see one do well. But yeah, that aligns with what I've been thinking and aiming towards. 5 if possible, 6 if you can.
Yeah, 64% of lists were 5 ship lists. So almost 2/3. About 2/3 list were 5 ship.
Yeah, every other list was a 5-ship list.
Take the majority of I6 aces that were 6 points and drop them almost all down to 5.
Yeah,
and
we're gonna fit some more stuff and provide a lot more 2 ships or 2 ships.
It's true.
Yeah.
Every faction is a 2-point ship except FO.
Unsurprisingly, then 4-point ships were the highest represented, which just makes sense. 4-point is, I mean, just look at FO. Like your only options are 3, 4, and 5-point ships. So the uh,
And 7.
and A7. That's true.
A7. Literally, I'm pretty sure this Kylo is the best he's been since Supernatural Reflexes was able to be used in a popular fashion.
Yeah. I do want to point out one interesting thing with the squad size and cost distribution. Is that looking back historically at Worlds, which is on the previous point iteration, it's actually not that wildly different. Like it's fairly different, but not a ton.
What?
So looking at a 4.7 average squad size down to 4.3. Oh, sorry, 4.7 for this event, and it was 4.3 at World. So it's gone up about half a ship for squad size.
Checks
and
out.
then for the average point cost, it was 5.5 for this one, and it was at Worlds it was 5, and all right, hold on, I got it backwards. All right,
There's more ships.
yeah.
So-
So it was 4.7 squad size and 4.3 at Worlds.
Okay.
And at UK Games XO, it was 5.0 squad size and 4.0 cost. So it's actually not that different. Just a little bit of slight tweaks.
So
we're
the
bringing-
averages are going down because we saw a lot of 6 ship lists at Worlds, but they were balanced off by those 3 ship lists though. So now we're kind
it
of
went
meeting
up.
in the middle.
Yeah, the squad size went up just a little bit, and the cost went down just a little bit to even it out.
I got to ask you guys about this bomber in this repeating ship composition.
Yes.
Is bomber? Tell me somebody who's flying this so we can look at
Yeah.
a list. So I assume this is
it's
3 3-point bombers, a Darth Vader, and then Grand Inquisitor.
No, actually, it's so what I'm calling the barrage box, which is Jonas, the 4-point TIE bomber with barrage rockets, Reimer
Oh,
with
the
barrage rockets,
barrage.
and Tomex
Okay.
with barrage rockets. So Tomex and Reimer are 3, Jonas is 4. You get a
Mm-hmm.
6-point Vader, whether it's starter Vader or boy Vader, and then a 4-point ship, which a lot of people seem to go straight towards Fifth Brother with, I assume, homing missile and FCS.
Yeah, fire control homing missile.
I'm not sure if that's the best 4-point option, but it's definitely high on my radar as one of the options in that. But yeah, they're taking the old bomber box, the barrage box, and
I
instead
mean,
of 4 of them,
dang.
there's 3
Fifth-
of them. And
5th and 6th down to 4 points.
Mhm.
But they can't
Yeah.
bring Prockets, and he lost his cannon slot too.
Yeah. So, but those bombers, they all have saturation, barrage, and a bomb.
yeah,
Not Reimer. Does Reimer fit?
it's right.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I did
They're all-
fly this against Crispy the other day, but I did not bring Darth Vader. I brought Merrick for fun. Wrong choice. Not wrong choice. No.
Yeah. Both Jonas and Tomex, that being that they're 10 loadout, both go saturation, barrage, rocket, bomblet generator. Reimer gets a little more loadout, so goes seismic charges, and you could either do, you could technically do bomblet generator also on Major Reimer and do BT1 since you're taking Vader for if they're stressed, you can do some additional crits in there, or you could just take seismic and delete.
No saturation?
He gets
Saturation on
as well.
Reimer, yeah.
They all get
Oh, on
saturation. barrage, bomb.
Reimer.
Yeah. So
I don't
for
think
Jonas,
yeah, that's true.
So because Jonas's ability allows you to reroll up to 2 dice with missile or torpedo attacks, friendly ships range 0 to 1. So keep all the bombers together near Jonas. You get rerolls plus your focus on offense. You get to use saturation salvo, spend a charge, force your opponent to reroll 2 defense dice, specifically 2. It's not up to 2. It
Yeah,
is
we were talking
2.
about this. We were talking about this the other day on the Wednesdays, and
Mhm.
yeah, it catches me off guard every time I read it. Of like, you have to reroll 2 dice. If there are not 2 dice to reroll, you can't even do it.
Right.
So if you're
That,
doing
I
it,
don't know, that I'm not sure if it's true.
No, it says
No,
reroll 2 dice.
reroll 2 dice.
I think it's worth looking and see if there's anything in the
Yeah,
FAQ
I mean,
clarification.
I'm happy. Yeah,
The fact that if you don't have to, if it's
Like you've rolled a single evade.
yeah. A
I
single
don't.
die
I don't.
rolls an
I don't
evade.
think it works. It's so specific.
I think
Yeah.
the only thing I can think of that be potentially similar is heroic. Heroic says,
Mm,
while you defend or perform an attack, if you have only blank results and have 2 or more results, you reroll any number of your dice. That
see, that
specifically
says
says
that says
2 or
any.
more.
Yeah, that also says reroll any number of your dice. So in case like
Oh, there
you
there
got
actually is a question for this.
oh what we
They
got?
said that there is a FAQ section where it clarifies that players reroll as many eligible dice as possible. So if they only rolled one, then saturation can still force that reroll.
Okay, so same thing of like I'm thinking I don't know what situation this would be, but like Django turns your eyeball to a blank, I guess, and then now you can't make them re-roll it because they already. No, I guess they wouldn't because it just changed or whatever. Hmm. Is there anybody re-rolling defense dice like that? Zuckus? If you got Zuckist, I guess.
Han, yeah.
But Hans isn't a reroll; it's a modification. So technically,
Well, they
so
would
the
do it
defender,
after. Cause,
so Han would roll his defender modify, or the attacker modifies the defender's dice first. So they would saturation salvo, and then Han.
true. Saturation salvo does lock out any elusives or anything like that. What is your fifth brother build? I see he has Juke available. That's interesting.
Yeah, it looks like
And
most of them took firing control homing. The homing missile with Fifth Brother is just
oh, that's right. Yeah, because
yeah.
let's
It's like, what are you talking about? What's the choice? There's only one choice.
What's the choice? Yeah, fifth brother member says after you perform an attack after the neutralized result step, if the attack hit is the keyword there, spend 2 force. So you ask somebody, would you like to take hit crit or a 4 dice attack with 2 force?
Yeah.
Yep.
Up to
That's
you.
basic now. The job of the opponent is to point enough at fifth brother so he has to evade. So that's
Not
the
lock.
conundrum. If you point at fifth brother enough, he's just going to turtle up there evading 2 force. It's not easy
Sure.
to get through. It takes way more than 4 points to kill off the board. But if you don't look at him, he is going to lock you with 2 force and punish you, making you choose between taking that 4 dice or taking the hit crit automatically. So I think it's
with
on
those
the
3
opponent.
bombers though. Yeah, with those 3 bombers laying fire down range with those barrage rockets, don't need a lock. Gets rerolls and can reroll your dice.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to like
Interesting.
threaten Fifth Brother.
It can definitely be dangerous. I'm personally not a huge fan of locking down my bombers into a formation like that. In a 5-ship Imperialist, I've kind of what I would try first. I'm not super interested in Imperials off the bat, but if I were to try them, I would go 6-point Vader, one of them. I would do Tomex, Mauler Stabber, and then probably a Reaper. But leaning towards Vizier with Palpatine because having that Palp force around for any one of the Mauler Stabber or Tomex to use on defense to allow their focuses to be used on offense or when needed, especially when Tomex wants to hold on to that focus. The bombers are not any more defensive than any other TIE bombers right now with the versions we see here. So Jonas and Reimer being I4, some squads can delete them off the board if they're not careful before they even do anything. And Jonas being 4 points is kind of an obvious starter right there because he's giving those other bombers additional firepower, effectiveness.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he can't exactly be in the back of the formation the whole time because Tomex is a 5. So depending on, you have to set it up in deployment in a particular way that either allows you to do some leapfrogging or Reimer and if you're putting it set up, you have Reimer farthest forward, range 1. You got Jonas right behind, and you got Tomex off to the right or left, depending on what your closest board edge is from them. Then you obviously
Yeah.
got to worry about deploying your bombs well enough without hurting yourself. Because if anything runs up to bump you and lock you up, you're taking your own bomb damage.
There were several other instances of Iraq, these three bombers, and Lear, which also sounds like a disgusting time to deal with.
Rack,
3-point tie interceptor with bendy barrel rolls.
Yeah.
oh yeah, because Rack is 7 now. 2.
Yep.
Yeah.
Rack got
Look at that.
cheaper. Not 8 no more. It's now 7. A little less loadout though.
Lear is so good.
I mean, can still bring Lone Wolf, Darth Vader, Death Troopers, and Agile Gunner, and the Dauntless.
I like Death Troopers, Seventh Sister, Agile Gunner, Ruthless, and Proton Bombs.
Proton bombs, yeah.
Sure, you want to stress around me at all? I could decide
Yeah.
to lock you down with Death Troopers or use it against you with Seventh Sister. Your choice.
True. A lot of ability there. I mean, let me ask you: are you guys taking sensitive controls on the rear? Because I don't think I'm flying.
100%.
I'm not flying interceptors unless it's Soontir without sensitive controls. But now, the rear's basically Tiny Echo. One bank out.
Yeah. Tiny
Hard 2 back in.
The rear with sensitive controls is 1, ridiculously fun. 2, really good at skirting the board edge because you can bend forward or back. 2, turn in, do what you need to do. You could go enduring and targeting computers. You could do Lone Wolf and nothing, or baffle just cause.
I did trick shot targeting computer this weekend. It was fun. I just kept him in the air. Basically, he was like Han Solo. He was just going boom, boom, and just staying on the outside, shooting
Just
outside
like crab
the
walking up the edge.
Yeah, so
Arrow
I'm
out.
kind of like
all the ships
Kyo.
were in the center, and he was just skirting the edge, getting trick shots from.
I'm the fancy Ada now.
distance. Yeah, it's fun, and at 3 points, it's one. It adds fun to the game. Like it's genuinely fun, and 2, at 3 points, having that ship basically be self-sustained and doesn't have to worry about anything. It's just out there doing its own thing with a 3 dice gun or maybe even a 4 dice gun behind the rock. It's pretty decent.
I mean, back to the original, like the notation of the repeating ship composition. I don't know, like who all like that. That was a solid commitment of 8 players doing pretty much that exact list. I don't know if it was to the upgrade, but man, I'm gonna guess most of them were in a squad together or talked a lot or like, let's all just bring this.
I mean, the barrage rockets seem easy, especially with the red bumps now, like red focus bumps. Invader seems like a good piece. Yeah, all these kind of
focus-based munitions way better than lock-based munitions.
Well, you say that though, but you can't K-turn and shoot your missile though. If you say could keep your lock.
I mean, why you K-turn when you can drop a bomb, leave with a
Yeah, it's
forward
like-
move, and do
Yeah,
an objective?
that's true.
Yeah.
Looks like the other one is FOFO, SF, Silencer, and Whisper. So I assume this is Blackout, Kylo, and then LaHughes and 2 3-point FOs. That
I really like Blackout.
sounds
5
about
points.
right.
a lot.
I've been looking at this. Well, I guess it's kind of similar to what we were looking at about the all I5s. Is that you get all your high initiative Malorus and Midnight. You can take Gaelic if you want. With that ion cannon instead of the Predator crack shot. And when I say silencer, that's Blackout I5 silencer for 5 points.
Yep, you can do an outmaneuver Blackout. You can do a Lone Wolf Procket Blackout
That's the
with Sensor
Hughes.
Scrambler with the Procket one. No Sensor Scrambler,
Oh.
the outmaneuver one.
I want to try primed thrusters. It sounds so fun. I don't know if I'm doing sensitive control prime thrusters, but probably better for the auto thrusters, being able to focus, barrel boost if necessary.
I think if you're doing sensitive controls on Blackout, you're probably doing Trick Shot Blackout.
Yeah.
True.
But man, outmaneuver with Blackout's ability is nuts.
Yeah, because
Outmaneuver.
like
Got
his
that 12.
ability, if he's shooting through an obstacle, He's doing -2, right?
Correct.
It's
And
still
he goes
minus
over-
one.
Yeah, but he's
It's -2 because it's -1 plus
yeah,
-1.
Yeah, it's plus the rock and then -1 basically.
Yes.
Well, no.
And-
Add rock -2.
Yeah, add
so you've got
-2, yeah,
net
yeah.
total -1.
-1
But you always want to
plus
do it.
outmaneuver. Yeah.
Yeah, usually it's like when Blackout's shooting through an obstacle, 1 agility ships are now 0. Now 2 agility ships are now
2
0.
agility ships. Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
3
Or 1
agility
agility-
ships are
or-
1 agility.
Or
Which
yeah,
a lot of
1
3 agility
agility.
ships do not want to be 1 agility.
1 agility or 0 agility out at range 3 as well.
I could see why people might like this. Again, take all of the pieces that are in first order, that are initiative 5 and 6, and throw them in a list. It seems very... There's a lot of variations of it, but wow, the amount of pilot options they have. Let's see. Let's just do one faction tonight. But I do want to hit a faction to talk about the
Think we
changes.
got time for that at this point?
That's up to you guys. How you feeling?
I think we were talking if we do one, at this point, Empire is probably too much. It's probably going to be first order if we do it tonight. Since of their recent success,
Okay.
and we're just
I mean,
talking about it.
We've talked about a lot of first order already. What
Yeah, we
happened?
kind of
We
wrap it
talked
all
about.
up now, right?
Yeah, we can just wrap it
Yeah.
up and put a bow around it. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, talk about everything we missed. Talk about how everything else actually comes together with some of the things that have been taken before. I mean, clearly, a lot of good success and was very popular in the event. I think,
True.
it First Order, Empire, and Rebels were the 3 most popular
Mhm.
factions in the event.
Yeah.
In UK.
That is interesting too, because like First Order has perceived the least amount of options to build a list, but they have the most amount of options for good ships, though.
Yeah, it's like they have the least amount of point brackets, but they have some of the deepest point brackets.
Yeah, I mean their 5-point ship bracket right now. Major Von Rog gets added to Von Reg. Sorry, not the Marvel character. The Red Baron themselves. Only 5 points, 14 loadout. You still get your missile and your double mod and your text and stuff. Provocateurs have gone down to 4.
Wait.
Not
so with
recommended.
Von Reg, I mean, that's a 5.3 agility ship now. Usually 2 hull, 2 shields.
Yeah.
You could, not saying I'm not saying you shouldn't, or you should, but you could put a shield upgrade and Detrium power cells on it to give it 5 health plus 2 regen. So it's a total of potential 7 health on it's 7 health on a ship that can take a target lock focus. Every turn is initiative 6, rolling 3 attack dice, rolling 3 agility, 7
Remember,
health.
if you're taking target lock focus, you're straining or depleting.
True, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, but if you have
you're
an
Yeah,
extra
you
health
strain
and
then.
Imperial.
Sure.
Yeah.
but either way, that's still a 3 dice initiative 6 ship with
Sure.
potential up to 7 health.
I still really like Daredevil on Von Reg. Daredevil did go up to 5 from 3. I like Daredevil with either Predator or Lone Wolf and Deuterium Power Cells. I think Deuterium Power Cells between the BAs and another particular FO we'll talk about later
Yes.
is it's like a very sneaky underrated
Back-
upgrade. I think
back
Deuterium
on the
Power
menu.
Cells went from 8 to 6, I think.
Yep.
And I think they're a real play with
They're-
some of these ships in FO.
It's cheaper than a shield now
And
for a stress.
Basically, gives you a shield and you just get a stress, and as long as you dialed in a blue maneuver.
As long as you didn't get destroyed in the opening engagement.
And
There's
it's
even more utility than that too.
It's anti-ion, so you get ionized at the wrong time. Now you're not ionized anymore. I mean,
Stressed instead.
All right. Well, let's keep it going here. Looks like Midnight, I already talked about it a bit. Lost the missile, though. So now has to rock. Probably Predator Crackshot. Though you tell me if you're not running Predator Crackshot on this.
Squad leader. Biohazard
Coordinate.
I6 coordinate, baby.
Whew. when you need it.
Wait. I just have a quick question. With Detrium, you can essentially do the ability, right? So you can do after you fully execute a maneuver, you take a, let's say, strain, and then
You'd be
convert.
taking a stress instead, so you would
You
skip
convert
your
it to a
action.
stress.
So-
Yes,
so
now
basically-
you're thinking fourth dimensionally on that.
Not good, but you're getting a stress, so might as well just take the regular action.
Well, no, if you have proud tradition, you certainly can.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
if you have proud tradition, you could do that. And that's right.
Mm.
Detrium and proud tradition could give you target lock focus and no,
Target lock focus stress.
And no strain or deplete.
no strain or deplete for a couple turns.
For a little bit.
Couple turns. Yeah.
All right, so let's see. The next changes here. Talked about Dread and Scorch a bit. I really like these guys. They do not have very much loadout, but enough to take a bomb, bomblet specifically, and a missile of whatever you want.
You can take 2 separate bombs on Dread. You can take proton bomb and seismic charges.
That is a bold choice, to say the least.
Like you already
Yeah.
You already talked about zooming past them. Actually,
Oh, we're
some
zooming
people-
boom, for sure.
A couple of people I've talked to who have started to use the word taunt, a phrase used in some
Yes,
games,
yes.
like MMO games or games where like you're trying to get the opponent's attention and draw their eyes towards a ship. That
Mhm.
in this case they use it to be like, all right, this thing's coming in. If you get it, you're gonna have to commit hard because I'm going to boost and go whoosh somewhere way off in some other space and location and drop bombs behind me if you want to come chase me. And if you don't come chase me, I'm just gonna do objective things.
I forgot. I used to fly the electro proton, or wait, electro shell, chaff, whatever it's called,
Chaff missile.
the chaff missile. I used to fly them with it, and man, I have forgotten how fast and maneuverable these bombers are. With those that bank boost 4 forward barrel roll, like you are a third of the way across the board already.
Yeah, they're like strikers, but like faster.
Much faster strikers. So yeah, I think that's good. I think, is it bold to say that this is the new Scorch? Should we be
No.
looking at? Oh, okay. Still,
Well, I think Dread's probably going to be taking more than the FO Scorch. I mean, both abilities are pretty negligible. Like they don't really do much.
The main difference
between
is the
them.
feedback ping that Scorch gets that elite pilot.
Dread
talent
doesn't get a
ability.
talent. That's true. Scorch.
oh
does
no,
have
I
access to
I was comparing Scorch to his other version.
FO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so let's put in context. FO Scorch went down in loadout value. Kept 2
Mm.
points. Went from 8 loadout to 6 loadout. Kept 2 talent, tech, and modification. You're basically saying, Scorch is now full aggro. You're either going crack shot and predator. Actually, you can't even fit that.
Can't even
You're
fit
going
that.
crack shot and fanatical, or advanced optics and something for 1 point. Marksmanship.
That's true. That's true.
I thought
Counterpart.
I thought crack was 4.
Crack is 4.
Predators
and then Predator.
3.
Yeah,
3.
7.
That's why I said I changed it to crack fanatical.
Okay.
Fanatical is now 2, by the way. And
Yeah.
Scorch's counterpart DT is what I kind of alluded to earlier. It was 6 points. Because DT opts for his ability to take a strain, this is where another spot for Deuterium power cells I think is really good too. You have a 3-point ship that could get back to that shield upgrade type FO fighter for 3 points. That is storing 3 attack dice. But you could also say, oh, there's some ships shooting after me that are threatening me. I don't want to take the strain. I'd rather take a stress. I'll do that instead.
Yeah. That could be a shield upgrade for later. That extra agility.
That's true. I think we'll start seeing that upgrade a lot more as we explore FO. Let's see. So we did the bombers. So let's talk
one
about.
more FO to wrap up. The TIE FO loadout decreases. Gaelic went from 8 to 7 loadout. And with the ion cannon and tractor beam both being 6 points now, basically pick one of those and either take biohack script or a 1-point talent.
Probably bio.
Probably bio for her ability.
Yeah.
It's rare, but it's 1 point, and there's not really any talents that stand out a ton.
Yeah, about because he coordinates the bio hexacrypt codes, lets him spend the lock and coordinate at any range. Pretty impressive. So yeah, his range restriction goes to infinite at that point. It's normally
Lock range.
the normal of 2.
Yep.
Well, you just lock your friend at the beginning. No big
As I
deal.
say, do I have a lock is the range.
Oh yeah, that's true. Lock, yeah, exactly. All right. So big changes on the FS fighters. The main one, you see a lot of red reduction there for the squad loadout.
Yeah, don't worry. It's because the SF gunner went down to 0.
0
So-
points.
Was it from 7?
5.
It was
it
5
from five?
before. Yeah, the poor Zeta couldn't take it.
Oh, it can now.
It can.
I
Wow.
just noticed that.
Yep. There you go. Back. You can now fly. But why would you? Because you got not only Phasma and Backdrafts still remain at 4, but LeHugh's down to 4. We saw a proud pattern. Great with the hard ones and sleeps of the TSF.
I think
And-
it's the default Hughes, right? Proud pattern.
I'm gonna mention barrage rockets.
Don't you know?
I'm just going to call them
Just
out.
because there's 2 missiles doesn't mean you have to put barrage rockets on.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should, Will.
You can't. They do have passive rerolls in bullseye and a nice 3 dice gun out the back.
Well, you
So
can do diamond, but that.
yeah, it's
Right.
not exciting.
So
I'm
you
trying
can
to
have a 3
invest
dice
in
gun
them.
out the back by doing a sloop to turn
Yeah.
around your front arc.
True.
Uh,
modded
Worry
3.
about that.
Well, that's true. I hard to say. What with such little loadout and such good upgrade options, the Hughes will have to
Hard to choose.
iron choose. Let's see then. Omega. What can you even take at 3 points? FCS, I guess. Great job. All right.
Generics don't count.
Oh,
Come on.
one last one though.
Yeah.
Why are we talking about Omega when we could be talking about Quick Draw? We saw them earlier at 5 points, 12 loadout. Take Swarm Tactics. You can take Outmaneuver. You can take.
Lost over half the loadout though. For
Yeah,
that
I was
look at
gonna
that
say,
change.
we
Yeah.
talk
Look at that
about all
change.
those like scum ships from last episode where they're like,
Mm.
oh, it went from 7 to 6, and then whoosh, there went half your loadout. Like,
Yeah.
look at Quick Draw went from 25 loadout to 12. You
Yeah.
literally you lost more loadout than you have right now.
True.
Lost 13, now 12.
Yeah. But you actually got back 7 of that because SF is free. So you really only lost.
That's not, well, it was
6.
5 before, so you,
Yeah.
you
Oh,
gained
5.
5
Sorry.
points.
Sorry. Yeah.
But you don't get
Still.
the full suite. So even with SF, you don't get the full suite anymore. You don't get the I get
This,
proud, fanatical,
this, yeah.
pattern,
Yeah.
FCS, and shielder or afterburners that you have to pick.
Basically,
'cause
you just lose the shield. Is essentially what
Yeah.
it comes down to.
Or you keep
I
the
saw
shield.
someone
and,
take
and
shield
lose.
in the
Yeah.
UK Games Expo.
No, but I'm saying that's
Yeah.
what you lose. Like, from what the way it used to be. If you do proud,
Right.
pattern, special,
Mhm.
that leaves you with 4 points or 5 points. So you can do.
Yeah.
There's multiple things you can do with 5.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Down
We
a
got.
squad point though is big.
I mean,
Doesn't
what?
feel as bad to lose quick draw for
Can-
5 versus 6.
Yeah. So far, we have for 5 pointers. You have Hollow, Major, Von Reg, and Breach. Breach untouched in the bomber, but then we have Quick Draw. But now, as we move on to silencers, Avenger gets more loadout, up to 10. Blackout, only 12 loadout, but 5 squad cost. Recoil and Rush both getting improvements on their loadout. Rush up to 11 now. And Kylo Ren up to 22 loadout with a talent slot. We talked about it a little bit before, but that outmaneuver has a lot of potential. Blackout has a lot of potential. I have not looked out literally any other ones other than Blackout. Even with
So
the
recoil could get a procket to basically get a focus-based
That's
ATT now because
true.
of Recoil's ability.
He didn't use.
Bullseye trigger is actually just its range 1 when it's stressed.
That's right. He didn't
Did
use.
he not have the loadout for it?
He didn't have the loadout
No.
before.
Didn't have the loadout for rockets before. Now I don't know if that's the right choice.
Yeah. That's
It
cool,
could be-
though.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I mean,
I mean,
Recoil only gets 1 talent, so you can't do Predator and Crack. You kind of pick one. Rush gets 2 talents, though.
Yeah.
I mean, Rush could take Lone Wolf and Procket, and
Yeah.
hard to already kill with Lone Wolf once it's actually active. If you make it I6, that I6 Procket's going to start hunting.
You can also take the Avenger and just a bunch of TIE FOs.
that's true.
Avenger gets APT back, which can matter a lot with Avenger's ability.
Yeah, Avenger. Grab yourself a couple bombers. Get yourself some TIE FOs. List just builds itself.
I think you do have to take a 4-point in there somewhere, right? No, it's just all 3,
Five.
isn't it?
5 by
Yeah.
3.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying. Will literally did this at Worlds. 5, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3.
Yeah.
Yep.
5 was hollow before.
Yep. You have a lot of choices in these threes. That's what impresses me right now. Is
And
if we
deep
do
choices too. Good choices.
this roster of FOs now, every FO being 3 points. But I mean, like,
Right, no FO is 4 points.
no, but like there is like real questions like, are you bringing Midnight or are you bringing Power Cells DT? What Scorch are you bringing? Do you want the cannon of Static and Gaelic? A lot of choices to be made there. The only other ship though that has changed is that Kylo Ren. We saw a couple versions of it. You don't get everything you used to. You used to get like Shatter and Shot and a couple other variations in there. I think I had Elusive at one point. But I do think that I don't think you go for Malice. I think you need to go for that advanced optics. And what is the other thing? The instinctive aim.
Yeah, the instinctive aim, advanced optics, concussion missile. You know, that's like the baseline.
Brilliant.
You used to be able to get Predator with that, but you can't.
Yeah, I don't think you
Just swap
can.
it off for Brilliant.
Brilliant, I think, is bad just because you're using that force commonly to mod the offense eyeballs and then modding the blanks, the single blank with the focus. And then
Well, that
Brilliant
means
allows
you have no
to
token then.
you have a force left for defense, potentially.
Well, why would Brilliant be bad then?
I'm not saying it's bad. They say it could be.
Oh, okay. Okay, I think
Yeah,
you're saying
it's
you
pretty
did
good.
not like it. Okay, yeah. I was like,
Yeah,
Brilliant's
because
bad if doing
you're
optics.
you're taking your action as either the reposition into jam or the focus, which you plan on spending for optics.
Sad thing is, in an odd case, Brilliant doesn't give you room for munitions failsafe, which actually helps this Kylo Whisper a little bit when you get those bad blank out missiles.
True.
You have nothing because your advanced optics is only going to modify one of them. So I could see someone opting for, I don't know, munitions failsafe and marksmanship.
That's true. I mean, he already kind of shoots crits out of his bullseye, but now you could do it without the force.
Yeah, you could guarantee one is in there.
That's true. That's true. I don't know if you'd ever opt to take any other missile. The cluster missile is interesting if you really want that Predator as well. But I think you're better off.
You need that concussion reach.
Yeah, that range 3 rear arc concussion missile will catch people off guard. They will not see it. So yeah, pretty interesting for FO. I'm glad that they're still at the top, but not utilizing, not just like copy paste the 6. Or what you just call it, the core 4 from last season. Getting even more into that kind of AC thing. And I feel like more and more the points have been the refined, if you will. It used to be like fill every slot. Now, for a little bit cheaper, you could just take one or two good upgrades, and that is enough to get you to be more efficient. 'Cause I don't think nobody's increasing their loadout. Well, those silencers, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised how the top FO lists in the UK Games Expo, most of them, if not any of them, had a silencer. 'Cause I think the silencers are some of the is probably the best ship in FO right now. With how many 5-cost ones there are, Blackout being 5, the Kylo at 7 being extremely powerful, I think. There's obviously still good other 5s with Kylo Whisper. And if you could take Kylo Silencer and Kylo Whisper, give me Silencer Kylo, give me Whisper Kylo, give me Blackout.
SF,
and
give me SF Kylo, give me.
Malus.
True. Well, we will have to stay tuned for what's left of the factions to break down. I think there's still quite a bit of interesting list out there to be discovered. But I think it's time to wrap it up, unless I'm missing something for tonight, guys, fellas.
I think we're good on FO and the UK Games Expo.
What's you guys' next tournament you're heading to? Do you got one planned? And Brian, I know you're practicing for your store.
My store, well, I'm running my store championship. I'm likely not playing it. The only reason why I'd play in it would be is if we have an odd number of players.
Sure.
But I wouldn't directly play as a full player. I would offer the person who would get the buy, would you like to play a fun game? I'd have to still prioritize any judge calls. But if they wanted to still play X-Wing and not just sit on the sideline, they could. I would offer them the chance to do that. Or they could go take a break. Their choice.
I got
Yeah.
a store champ on Sunday, which is
On
kind of weird.
Sunday?
I prefer Saturdays, but they're doing it on Sunday, so
I'm sure it was a magic thing on Saturday.
probably.
Where's that
It's in,
at?
It is in the suburbs, Grognards, I think, or something like that. It's somewhere out there in the middle of
No, I think
Suburb
Gardner's the one I'm heading to in the
Yeah,
first
that's
week of
right.
July. That's what I got. That's the one I got locked down that I gotta play at. What about you, James? Your store championships you're able to make it to?
Dungeon Cat, Glen Ellen.
Dungeon Cat. Right on.
There is one that is not this weekend, but the next weekend that I could make it to. I don't know if I will be able to, just because there were some previous plans on that day. But if I'm able to, I'll try to make it out and fly some Naboos.
Naboo's plural, huh? Okay.
Naboo with an S on the end of it.
Okay. All right. You've been clamoring for that 4-point Padme, so I don't know how you could not at this point.
Yeah, I am liking who was that today that was flying
The 7-ship Padme.
the
Yeah,
seven ship
get
Padme.
Annie Ada out of there. Why don't you just be Padme?
Yeah. I think that was Cormac Higgins. So yeah, I may have to. I do not have 3 V-wings though, so
Yeah, you're gonna have to wait for that V-wing double pack to come out.
yeah, I may have to go pick up a couple more if I want to do something like that. So I may drop move some things around and maybe trade out some ships for some different ones. But yeah.
Awesome. Well, I just want to thank everybody tuning in here live on these Monday nights when we record on Twitch. Otherwise, for everybody else, thank you as well. I think that's going to be No, it's never going to work simultaneous. I always wanted to work the simultaneous Gold Squadron out. It's never going to work. Brian, give me your best Gold Squadron out. Let's finish it.
All right. This is Gold Squadron signing off, and Gold Squadron out.
Thank you to ISO, Danko, Baffle, Trojan, Prophet, Shadow, Tycho, Spice, Raider, Lancer, Fallen, Row 6, 626, Chief, and J List, our Grand Admiral patrons. And all of our Gold Squadron patrons and community members, thank you for your support. Gold Squadron out.